Hi, my name is Dylan Mangiel with Nebraska Extension, and today I just want to share some last-minute thoughts on soybean variety placement for disease control in your planting this spring. This is In-Field Observations. Using varietal resistance is the most economical form of disease control that we have to offer. The reason this is the most economical is because you're not going to pay a premium for a resistant soybean seed. It's going to be the same cost that you'd have for any other seed. The investment that you need to make, though, is figuring out which diseases you have in which fields and taking the time to place those varieties in those fields. Now, this is all dependent on knowing what diseases you've had there in the past, because disease resistance and tolerance is going to be specific to certain diseases. So take the time to know your field history, or else work with labs like the UNL Plant and Pest Diagnostic Clinic to verify which diseases you've had. That's going to make sure that those varieties are going to do the best on those fields. Now, when you're considering varieties, the next most important thing is there's two types of resistance. One is called field tolerance, and that's typically number ratings that you can see in seed catalogs. These are typically on scales from, say, 1 to 9, showing which diseases these will perform best against. This is why it's important to pair that with a specific disease. Now, the next type of resistance is called true resistance, and this is resistance gene based. Examples of this would be Phytophthora, the seedling disease, which there's resistance genes called RPS genes in the catalog. Another example would be soybean cyst nematode. There's common resistance genes like PI88788, a numbered one, or else another one called Peking. So those are both available. An example of use of varietal placement would be white mold from last summer. A lot of fields across Nebraska struggled with white mold, and now a lot of growers know they have a history in those fields. So maybe not this year, but next year when you rotate into those fields, think about which ones had the white mold problems and go to those seed catalogs or talk to your local advisors and select a variety that's going to do well in those situations. That's going to get you off to a good start. And also, placing those varieties could potentially make your inputs more effective if you're going to apply a fungicide, or potentially in some cases reduce the need for that altogether, thereby lowering your input costs totally and getting better disease control. All right, lastly, I just encourage everyone to take the time to know their fields. If you've got good field histories or consider it going forward, take the time to figure out exactly which diseases you have. The next thing is just make sure you take the time, invest that time in placing varieties in the right fields. Every seed counts, and by placing those varieties in the right place will help you get the most out of that seed investment. Thank you. This is In-Field Observations.